lads. We got a long one this week, as they say. Good. We're all good. Right. Okay.
It will be quite extensive. Looking at your notes.
Yeah, and then there's the extra stuff as well that maybe you've got. So yeah, it's.
Well, yeah. There's all the stuff that we talked about. What day is it today?
Yesterday.
Yes, yesterday.
Yes, it's Tuesday today. Yes, so yes, it was yesterday,
Yeah.
wasn't it? So welcome to Roundtable 90, everybody, where you get to catch up with Team WNG and find out what the hell has been going on and what state of insanity we're currently at. We'll do some Q&A as we go along. I'm fed up with saying afterwards now because it always ends up doing as we go along, doesn't it? Weekly maintenance 9 a.m. tomorrow, as usual. We are right with that, aren't we? And then there's the other question of did we actually do the server shutdown rotations again? Or are they just going to shut down on Thursday?
No. I'll change that before I disappear off tonight.
Yeah, we should add that to the list. So let's crack on then. So you want to do the ARC stuff this week? I'll do the Rusty Conan stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah? Okay.
Not a problem. So let's have a look.
Dinosaurs. Let's start there.
Yes, there are some dinosaurs and they exist in a game called ARC. They will get prettier as time goes by. As you're all probably aware, we retired the Tech Reaper a few weeks ago. The icon for legacy owners of the Tech Reaper has made it into game. So anyone that has a little Tech Reaper icon next to their name, that's because they used to own something that is no longer available. If you did have one and you still have your soul trap, it will be labeled appropriately and you can put in a ticket and get your own icon. It will be awesome. Kara's personal chat icon that she won made it into game last week as well. It looks pretty awesome, actually. I think it's one of the better ones we have up there with the Lanas, I think, is a really nice one as well.
Both of those look really good.
Simple
things
did
are
our
best
first.
sometimes,
Oh, yeah, totally. I totally agree with that. We did first pass on the cave loot last week as well. So that means saddles are now dropping in cave crates. I think it's still a bit wonky. It needs some refinements, and I've been working on some of that over the last few days. So we'll have a second version of that coming out soon. And then I'll start on the overworld loot as well. But I really want to polish off the cave loot drops so that it's really worth going in there and you don't just get the same thing dropping all the time. Obviously, caves are now your source of blueprints for your saddles and armor. Well, any quality saddles and armor. You can still get saddles and saddles and stuff dropping in the overworld loot crates, but the quality won't be as good. The bonus supply drops, the ones with the rings around them and the runes on them on Fjordjaw and stuff, they always have higher quality than the standard ones, but it still won't be as good as bossing or caving or OSDing. Yeah. Oh, we also fixed Extinction. Hall of Extinction was dropping primitive loot. Don't ask me how that happened, but it's been fixed now. Yay. Cave-wise, anyway. Was it intended for carcass saddles to drop from red drops? Yes, red drops are for large saddles. Carcass are large dinos. I have no idea how that happened, Backy. It's just I went in there to check the config and I was like, that don't look right. Purple OSDs are guaranteed to always drop Ascendant stuff or Ascendant quality type stuff, almost. So you can do them to get Karka or you can do a cave. Depends what you're geared for. But yeah, as you go down the tiers in OSDs, the quality of the loot gets less. So yeah, if you're up for purple OSD, then by all means, get the good loots. What else did we have? Oh yes, our treasure chests have all disappeared. I did post a few screenshots and feedback of where they were, and people were like, "Oh shit, I looked all around there and I didn't find it." But yeah, I think Fjordur was probably the biggest shock, and the island. It's like, oh, there's one there. Oh, why didn't I look?
Jojo one will look a bit
But,
weird though, won't it? Because you'll see the different realms all stacked up. I
yeah,
believe.
you would. But the density of them was much greater. It was like what 10 for each realm, wasn't there?
Yes,
Was
I
it
think so.
5?
Yeah, 5 to 10 for each realm. Yeah, it was a lot.
Does Dilo saddle drop BP drop somewhere? Yes, it does. I would put money on the fact that the Dilo saddle doesn't drop from the platform saddles or the large saddles. But moving on. Everybody's favourite doggy on Fjordjaw is now dropping Federation shards instead of elements. I did have some. Well, I've never modified that one before, and it does have some funky code on it to deal with the cryo-podded dog reward that it gives out. So I may have completely screwed up its loot table. So next person that does the endgame boss on Fjordjaw, please let me know. Good, because the cryopoded Fenrir that you get from killing the boss is not actually in the loot table, along with a few other bits and pieces. It's some sort of hard-coded weird shenanigans going on. And we had similar problems with the little world bosses on Fjordur as well. When we modified their loot tables, it turned out they could only hold like 4 things in their loot, in their inventory. And that was all hard-coded, so it caused problems. We've added an experimental new tool to Arc, the B button. Not only does holding down the B button allow you to scream at people nearby you, it will also collect their loot for you. So you can run around screaming, "Ah, motherfucker, I got your loot!" Smashing B. I don't know if anyone's used it, tried it, actually tested it to see if it works, but
what do people think of the B key? Located conveniently between the V and the N key on your keyboards.
Well, I did want to use what was it? G for grab shit, but that didn't work with GCM mode because G is destroy structure you're looking at when in GCM. So that kind of caused a bit of an issue. Let's pick up loot. Oh shit, just killed someone. B button for bags, I thought was quite good. How about world bosses? B button can pick up other tribes' drop stuff. Is it going to be changed? Not sure what you mean. It shouldn't pick up somebody's death cache. It'll only allow you to pick up your own tribe. It won't collect loot from... Yeah, that's fine. You can do that anyway. If you ever, I don't know if you ever tried that. Somebody kills something and harvests it and drops a death cache. You run over and pick it up. Nothing to stop you doing that. It's short range on when you're on foot. It's only 9 foundations when you're on long range. Yeah, no, it's the only thing that you can't pick up that belongs to somebody else is their personal death cache. So if they die, and their loot sits on the floor in a bag because their corpse got harvested, it won't grab that for you. You have to be in the same tribe. I mean, we can force it so that you can't interact with any loot dropped on the floor, but that would cause a real problem when it comes to things like trading. You'd have to put it in a box and then transfer it. You couldn't just throw something out for your mate. It's kind of like an increased range F button, but only by about like 2 foundations. So you just got to be careful when you're on your dyno. I can tweak the ranges. That's not a problem. What else have we got? That's it for stuff that has happened in Arc over the last week. But we also have stuff that we're working on. Now, I'm going to go through like bits and pieces that we're aware of, stuff that's being worked on, but there's no promised delivery dates for any of this stuff. It's just more, here's what's going on. We're going to drop some no build zones in some caves. There are various caves around the map which allow building, but they have large concentrations of resources, explorer notes, combinations of both, and we're going to have to drop some no build zones in those caves because we're fed up with having to deal with tickets and clearing people out of them when they build or tile right over explorer notes and stuff like that. So expect some of that coming along. We're aware that Chibi on the Arc Shop is for the Straw Hat Otter is broke. It's currently giving you the bat. We'll fix that. Each world boss is going to get its own arena. So they will be split out into different locations. Ice Wyvern eggs. Turns out that they are unique and they don't automatically get cleared up by any of our systems if they get picked up and dropped on the floor. So please eat them until we can fix that. What else have we got? Here's the big one, the big discussion point for ARC, and please spread the news. We've discussed this in feedback many times now, and we've never had any serious negative feedback or opposition to the change. So I would like to do this in the near future, sooner rather than later. And everyone got their notepads handy. This is important. Blocking the transfer of artifacts across map, but allowing the transfer of tributes across map. The only exception to this would be artifacts that... No, the only exception to this would be nothing, I don't think. Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm not looking at chat at the moment because I'm looking at my notes, so I can't see what everyone's saying.
Howard said, "Oh boy," and Quick said, "Yes, that's so good." With multiple O's, so I guess he meant like good.
Yes, we can create no build zones around the obelisks, Meraxis, and I think that is a good idea, considering we don't allow boss summons from transmitters. And the reason we don't allow boss summons from transmitters is because people tried to summon bosses on maps where they didn't exist, and we then had to spend half a day recovering their stuff because they got teleported to a location that didn't exist underneath the mesh. Oh, yes, I remember what the exception was to the artifact transfers. Artifacts that are only present on one map, people will want to be able to transfer them to other maps to put in their displays. They will not be blocked because as far as I'm aware, looking at it, if they're only present on one map, they're only used on that map, so it doesn't matter if they're transferred to other maps. So I remember we discussed it, and we came up with a solution. So it should be fairly straightforward. It'll mean people will have to cave to get their artifacts and do their progression properly. It's a pretty big one, that. And that will come after I finish the next few passes on the loot table. Possibly, maybe earlier, I don't know. What else have we got? Raidable bases. They are coming, but they are currently on hold. We found a bug with the system, or an issue with the system that doesn't allow us to deploy them yet. So just to let you know, we haven't forgotten about them, but there's something we need the developer to fix before we can push that live. It's not something I can fix, so unfortunate there. Oh, pro tip for everybody. You can disable harvesting on a strider. I didn't know this. Quite a few of us didn't know this, but it is possible. You can turn it off and then spend the next 2 days wondering why your strider's not harvesting anything.
Almost as good as, oh shit,
there.
Nogling's mind control.
Yeah. We had that one come up in the week, and I thought I want to spread the news about that there are no bugs with striders. They are harvesting fine. Just make sure they're turned on. And not in a sleazy way. Tech shields. Vanilla tech shield deployment on Extinction. You can do it, and you can do it around OSDs, but you're never going to be able to power the thing or turn it on.
You can't be doing it around OSDs. That's just wrong. Oh dear.
Huh? What?
You said you can't just go doing it around OSDs. It all sounds so wrong.
Well, close the door and pull the curtains. You'll be fine.
Well, use your tech shield, I guess. Can we have like a tint option on it or something?
The vanilla tech shield won't work for you because you don't have the engram, and you need a tech engram to be able to use the tech structure. So I'll be putting that back shortly. We didn't flag it in our testing because obviously we were in GCM mode summoning things in, and that gives you every engram under the sun. Actually, saying that, if that engram wasn't included, it shouldn't have worked for us either.
You would think. Strange things happen at sea there.
Is anybody in game at the moment? Is anybody there?
Yes.
Right. Could you check do a quick check your engrams for it's not called shield, it's is it force field generator?
Something like that, yeah.
I keep searching for shield, and it's definitely not shield because you get the tech handheld shield that bounces bullets back.
Tech shield generator. There you go.
Now, do you have the S Plus one or the normal one? Okay.
Oh, look at that. Pictures and everything.
Yeah. I don't think the vanilla one is called a tech shield generator. Pretty sure it's called something else, and I keep falling foul of this.
S Plus tech shield generator. It doesn't look like the normal one is there on that picture.
No, it won't be because you're searching shield. That's what I'm saying.
Tech force field.
Yeah, force field. That's it. Hasn't got the word shield in it. Yeah, pretty sure it's tech force field. Because a tech shield is a handheld shield that goes in front of your character and bounces bullets back at other people. Yes, Tech Force Field it's called. Does anybody have that engram?
You.
Didn't think so. I think I removed moved the shield generator to be an unlock rather than a boss unlock. Possibly. Can't remember. Either way, thank you very much for checking, but that's probably why you can't load it up with Element or even turn it on. Yes, you can create it and you can put it on the floor, but you can't actually use it, I believe. Correct. So anyway, we will be fixing that, and that will allow people to deploy shields around their OSDs. What else have we got? Okay. In the interests of reducing laggy behavior on the cluster, I did a little experiment to the detriment of a few tribes on the Valguero map who probably don't even realize.
Say it, people. Say it. Admin abuse.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah. I went round and blew up all their tech, oil, sap, and gas pumps. And the net result of that was a much better performing map. I have a feeling that some issues arise when unattended pumps cap out storage facilities and just keep pumping out resources and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, in all honesty, oil, you got a normal pump, you probably go and get you do a few oil trips and you got more oil than you can ever use. Yeah, the difference with the tech ones is they just keep pumping resources into a dedicated storage until that dedicated storage is totally full. Then the pump starts filling up and then they just sit there occupying a spot and never disappearing. So I'm just thinking we just remove the tech ones from the game, and all it means is players will have to fly out, pick up some resources and come back every once in a while. Or set up a translocator next to their pumps and just dump the stuff into there every once in a while, save them having to have birds and carry it around. But it seems completely unnecessary and caused more problems than it actually helped with. So unless anyone's got any objections to that. Exactly, that's my point.
That is absolutely true. It is.
Among not just dung beetles. It would also mean that it would free up more oil veins and trees and sap and all that kind of stuff. Because at the moment you can have a normal pump plus a tech pump, and there are a few tribes that do that. On the topic of oil, though, I did a quick whiz around all the maps, and most maps have 40 to 50% of their oil veins or their oil locations currently in use. So there's still plenty there. So whenever somebody says to me, I can't find any oil, go look. It's a resource map. No, normal pumps are fine. Yeah, exactly. Or a few tech dynos in a sol terminal. What else have we got going on? I think that is about it for Arc. I do have something that I'm working on in the background as well. from an art point of view, but it's more
Cool,
helpful
though.
for the admins and stuff than, well, yeah, it kind of is.
It is seriously cool, though. So, and it
So
concerns players.
it does. So I'll make them aware. I've started creating a new vault to go in the trading posts. And what it does is, I was having a little mess with it today. You run up to it and you can claim the vault for your tribe. And once you claim the vault for your tribe, only you have access to that vault. You can then store stuff in it. When you're done with it, you then unclaim it and it becomes available for anyone else to use. It also means that admins can drop stuff in there. So say we're doing a item recovery for you or a corpse recovery due to a rollback. If you've got a vault at a trading post, we can just dump stuff in there for you and you can collect it at your leisure. No more PIN numbers, no more putting in tickets for, can I have some storage at the trading post? You just go along and claim it. There'll be one storage per tribe and it'll be vault sized, so it's like 350 slots on it or something like that. Yeah, fairly straightforward. I did want to do it so it was just one vault and everybody accessed it, and each person that accessed it saw a different inventory. But that was overly complex. Couldn't wrap my head around TARDIS type structure. But other than that, I think that's pretty much it. If
Okay.
anyone's got anything else they need to query about the lovely world of Ark.
Anybody? Anybody at all?
Bueller.
Or I'm going to subject you
Bueller.
some Rust patch notes.
No.
No, nobody's got anything else. Okay, we'll move on then. Rust patch notes for this week then. NPC changes we'll start with. You're going to notice some changes to NPC loot pools, those of you who are playing Rust. We've started to separate NPCs into difficulty levels based on difficulty tiers. Heavy work is in progress with this, and it'll be much more refined in the end. More on this specifics of this when we get ready, but basically what we're going to be doing is tiering all of the monuments on the map. A lot of them repeat across multiple maps, so we're going to tier all of those, and the NPCs and thus the loot table is going to be adjusted based on the difficulty of the place you're running, so it's going to be a much smoother experience, and hopefully we can start to get this implemented probably next week, and then that will be an ongoing process of improvements. We've had a massive update to what they're calling the industrial expansion. And with the introduction of the industrial expansion, a new item arrived, several actually, but all revolving around the electric furnace and its automation system. So this is, I think, it's very Minecraft. For those of you who have played with sort of filters on chests and inputs and outputs and things like that, it's very, very Minecraft. This new furnace is naturally using electric, not wood, so it doesn't produce charcoal. And we had a toy around with actually making it passively produce charcoal while it was in smelting mode and actually had something to smelt. And we've caught a little bug with that. It's basically producing charcoal passively when it's just turned on and doing nothing. So that has had to be reversed. Some sort of conversation went out with one of the devs, and we'll see what we can get fixed there. And if possible, we will return passive coal production, but only when smelting ores in the first place. And as another repercussion of the new update and the changes and what's going on, you'll notice the little green button, stop burning your furnaces, has been removed. The way the background game handles all this now has changed so much with the introduction of automation that it's no longer possible to do the auto stop button. And after a little bit of playtesting, I also don't think it's worthwhile stopping your coal production. as coal is a core ingredient of everything that goes bang, boom, and is fired down to the end of some sort of implement. So continue burning your coal and chop down those trees. And then the last thing, as I promised, includes Arc 2 now. Because I made a promise and we made a promise a while back that the Rust audience was not going to be interfering with the Arc audience and our really chill and relaxed thing we have going on Discord. So, rules, clarification, and the direction of the Rust server at the moment. So, first rule of the Rust server is basically leave all of your shit in the game. It's that brutal. This includes rivalries, if you join voice channels and you want to be part of groups. In general, from what I've seen so far, everybody has been really chill. Everybody's enjoyed the experience. So leave out everything that goes off in game when you come to Discord. It's supposed to be a fun environment. It's going to stay a fun environment. And we will keep it that way. When it comes to purge time should be anarchy. And again, keep it friendly, but we're kind of not going to be enforcing major rules through purge time. Purge time is going to be basically 5 days now. We've come to the decision that if we set it to 5 instead of 7 days, we perfectly encapsulate the weekend and the first few days of the new week before we have to wipe. So it's going to be 5 days before the first Thursday of the month, as the first Thursday of the month is the wipe time, and therefore the server will be shut down for reconfiguration and the new map. Been talking a lot about ranks as well with Rust. So this one I am going to spring, but we've been toying with the idea of maybe disabling the rank system, or at least the command that shows it. Reasoning for this, I think it's promoting aspects of people's personalities that goes against what we actually want to do with the server. Things become a lot more competitive, and a lot more people are getting sort of rolled over just for points rather than the fact that you want what they have. So I think discussions need to be had about specifically the ranking system and whether or not we actually log any data whatsoever if we're going for a chill kind of vibe. Thoughts on that, anybody in feedback? And obviously we'll have a talk about that as well when we get to our Monday meeting. Rules in general, absolutely no door camping. So there's no need for it. You can quickly grab the few things your friend had when you lost, as we discussed before, most of your toolbar is already protected. You can't raid anyway. So no door camping, don't be a douchebag. If you get killed, just move along. Job done. Anybody caught door camping can and will, and in this case have been banned for it. And we won't be tolerating that sort of behaviour. Added this week as well, for those listening, is roof camping is now banned, straight up. During no purge time, which is the first 3 weeks of the wipe, as we've discussed before, camping high spots purely for kills and just sitting on top of your base sniping at people from 300 meters, again, is going to lead to a timeout and a ban, because it's not in the vein of where we want to take things. We want it to be fairly chill the first 3 weeks. We've got a lot of PvE events, and we want people to be able to cooperate with each other, have a good time, have a laugh, and then you can use those last 5 days to obliterate each other whilst being nice about it is the key here. As far as directions going, we're looking for a community, basically, the same as we do with Ark. So a community of like-minded people who want to play in a chilled out, friendly environment. During non-purge times, PvP is going to be allowed so long as the above 2 rules are satisfied, which is basically don't be a douchehole, don't door camp people, and don't just sit there in high spots farming kills. The server is more than that, and we want it to remain more than that. Basically, you're all good. Don't be a moron. I think that's pretty much what I've got for Rust this week. There's lots more things in the works. I'm going to make a big, massive list pretty much tonight when we've finished all this. And then I will post out in feedback channels some of the things we'll be working on later. And people can give us some idea of which direction they want to go. So,
on Ducky's point there, we're not necessarily looking for Rust players. We're just looking for people that want to enjoy playing a game that's different to what normal Rust is.
I would also reply to Ducky that I think that's a very, very good point, actually. And yes, we are asking a lot from your general Rust player. We've tried the PvP route and we've tried the hostile server thing and all that sort of stuff, but there's 9 million of them out there, and quite frankly, we'd be a 1 in 9 million with everybody else. There's been a good group of players playing this wipe. We've had well over 30 players join this wipe, and everybody has been super chill. We've had 2 cases now where we've had to issue bans. One being for door camping, which was basically a hostile conversation went off. They couldn't chill out enough to not come back and do it again, so we kicked them. We've had another who's just isn't going to fit within how we want to be. We are going to get players who come here just to farm easy kills. We're going to get people who are used to another environment. And my answer to that would be move on, because that's not what we want to foster. We can be whatever we want to be. And just like in Ark, when we started out, we had all sorts of players join until we found our medium and we found the group of players that played well together, and the community grew from there into what it is now. So we've done it once, we can do it again. So yeah, if I'm asking a lot from Rust players, bring it, let's do it. We'll prove it can be done. Exactly. That is exactly my point though. If you foster the right environment and we're selective about who we have playing here, then everybody gets a great experience. So no doubt we can do that with Rust too.
Yeah, and like Becky says, it is just another survival game. It's got building elements in it. It's got survival elements in it. It's got events in it. It's got bosses. It's got raidable bases. It's got everything that you would look for in a game. Group play as well, obviously. It's just got a little bit of an extra twist to it, which is kind of like at the end of the month, you can blow shit up.
Yeah. All is good. So as I said, I'll put some notes together on the huge amount of tasks we've got coming up, and flesh out a lot more details on what's coming with the loot changes and the mobs. What about opening our PvP server? Yes, but it again opens up a whole other world of players that we know very little about so far, and would be like a teeny tiny steps type thing. I believe the idea you were proffering, Becky, was it you who was on about why don't we just do like a one map kind of Rust style Ark server, but with dinosaurs, I suppose.
Yeah, it's the only difference is dinosaurs on one and no dinosaurs on the other. But hey,
This is so true, Nico. It is. And then I'd like to say I've got a little bit left, which concerns Conan. By all means, I'll come back to the Rust topic in a minute as well. So Conan, we had a minor outage last week. We suffered a small outage, which was down to a comms issue. It took us an hour or so because we were like really struggling with the rest of everything else we were doing, but that was resolved, and I can confirm now all is well, and it was not the save that was doing it, which is what initially worried us. Work has started on compiling a mod list. Thank you, Tula and Chris. Of mods we'd like to evaluate and test and add to the server and bring more and more features. And we are even looking at, in some cases, maybe total overhauls for future / other projects and things like that. So expect more there. And work has also started, in fact, has actually finished and is awaiting proofreading and formatting of our very own Tula's awesome guide to Conan, armor, and food. We've had some new players recently, and I know Rust Dev, Cannabis, has just started playing Conan as well. So he's been pulling from Tula's vast knowledge. The thing she's got ready is pretty much the most complete thing I've ever seen anywhere for information on different armors, their stats, their buffs, all of the buff foods, what they can do for you. And coming soon, we look forward to passing you on some of Tula's vast Conan knowledge in kind of tone form. It would be fitting for Conan, I think.
difficult. Quick saying Conan's so difficult at the start. No.
this is the problem. If you don't know how to get into those particular areas, like talking to Cannabis the other day, he's like, "Well, I need to get this black ice stuff, and I've heard it's cold up there. So where do I get all these different like armors and things like this?" Then because if you look on the website, and this is actually true, if you look on Conan's website, they haven't got most of their gear categorized properly for
Yeah.
how much cold resistance and stuff. They seem to have used standard graphics for all of the different buffs, and it is a nightmare trying to find out what you should be wearing, where you get it from, what the buff foods are, where you get those from, because it's all kind of open world collectible stuff. So yeah, some of this guide is going to be. I think we're going to get lots and lots of hits off this because it is the most complete thing I've ever seen in my life. Another game I play is about it all the time. Rust, from what I've discovered, is quite fun because it's not something I'd really had my radar on to play. PvP isn't necessarily my thing, not in that form anyway. And I've been thoroughly enjoying a lot of the PvE content. There's depths to Rust you don't even realize would exist in some sort of like older shooter game. Tula seems to be learning quite quickly. Then again, Tula, once she gets involved with a game like that, does chew it to bits. But yeah, it's all good. Do we have any more questions before we shut down for the evening? And I pass out in my chair. No, you're not having base codes quick. Has everybody voted on the Arc servers? You mean the new dino? Oh, you mean the actual vote sites for points and stuff, you mean then? Good question. Has everybody voted and get voting? We're slowly stealing Rust players. Arky's now playing Rust and enjoying it. If we are good for this evening, then you good? You got
Believe
nothing
we are.
else? Yeah. In that case, then we have been
Great.
the Wicked Ninjas. And good night.
Good night, everybody.